What's going on, guys? Meteorologist Jonathan Kegges with you. We are tracking some severe weather, continuing to move on through extreme east, southeast Georgia, and working through the Florida Peninsula. We had just had the tornado watch expanded to a few counties just a little bit ago. That now is going to include Marion County in Central Florida. Same deal, Flagler County. This is a continuation of the expansion through Alachua County, then up towards St. Augustine and Jacksonville as well. Let me know where you are tuning in from. This is kind of the last gasp of this multi-day severe weather outbreak that started in the plains a couple of days ago and now has worked its way through parts of the deep south and then getting ready to exit the coast. Again, kind of a wider view here shows all the lightning on the west and north side of Jacksonville moving toward Gainesville right now. We do have a line of severe thunderstorm warnings, ground confirmation here of winds of about 60 miles an hour as this came just to the west of Jacksonville. So I'm going to turn off the warnings. This big red kind of blocky thing you see on the screen there, that is the tornado watch. It goes until 6 o'clock tonight. And again, that was just expanded to include Flagler County into Marion County. So if you do have the Pinpoint Weather app, great tool to get your weather information, not only from a daily forecast standpoint, but from a more critical standpoint in terms of getting these watches and warnings. So that's what we are seeing right now, again, expanding until 6 o'clock tonight. You see the lightning strikes here, highly electrified storms as they are coming through. About 211 strikes in the last 15 minutes here. If you are just tuning in, again, we are tracking the severe weather. We are live on YouTube and on the Pinpoint on the clickorlando.com and the News 6 phone app. If you are watching from YouTube, please post in the comments where you're watching from. We'd love to know if you're from Florida or Georgia or anywhere else. We're going to get into this now. Severe thunderstorm warning for North Marion County. We're going to have to do a little bit of radar work here where every now and then we're going to switch to different radar vantage points so we can get a better view of these storms. And right now we have some nasty weather moving through Gainesville. This is just getting into the northern side of Marion County. So again, McIntosh, heads up. Reddick, heads up as well. Micanopy, this is coming pretty much on our doorstep as we speak. Just going to look at some of the comments that may be coming in here. And again, post where you're watching from. If you are finding this content helpful on YouTube, please give it a thumbs up. It'll allow YouTube to push it out to more people so we can give everyone a heads up here. Hawthorne, what's going on? If anybody watching from Gainesville, the worst of this has blown on through the west side of town. If you happen to be watching from Gainesville, I would love to know what you saw or are seeing. Same deal from Alachua itself and into High Springs. If you're watching from Ocala, this is going to be coming into your direction here. Now, the trend with this is going to be for it to weaken considerably as it kind of moves down south toward Orlando, and certainly by south of Orlando. It may just be a few sprinkles. What's going on, Noah? Good to see you, my friend. So the worst of this is really going to be, again, where we have that tornado watch and where we are going to see things. And where we have the worst weather coming through. So right now the worst of this is coming through Gainesville and then up towards Jacksonville. We'll take a look at some of these nasty cells. Again, there is a severe thunderstorm warning included in Jacksonville, Orange Park, Lakeside. We are under that severe weather threat. Let's head to the velocity mode now. And this isn't only used to see if there's rotation in these storms, which is something we're going to be looking for on a day like today. But it can also estimate the winds getting to the surface here. And you see, the winds aren't too terribly strong here, at least from an estimation standpoint. We have had reports, though, I'll turn on the storm reports, just north of Jacksonville of wind speeds of around 60 miles an hour. So at the Jacksonville airport, we did have reports there of wind gusts pushing 57 miles an hour. That was at the airport. Even north of that, a 65-mile-per-hour wind gust. So it looks like there was an error in the one report, and this corrected that error. So there was an actual 65-mile-per-hour wind gust at the Jacksonville International Airport. moving through. Again, that's going to obviously be in Duval County for those that live there. Also, it looks like a little bit of hail, little hail icon popping up there as those storms came on through. So post in the comments where you are watching from if you are interested in seeing a particular area as we track these storms moving through parts of Central Florida here. This is Lakeside, Florida, Green Cove Springs. I'm going to turn off all of this mess. Again, all of these storms have a severe thunderstorm along with it, a severe thunderstorm warning with it. So important to note that I just turned off all of those polygons, if you will, so that we can see where those storms are. So Stark right now seeing a lot of lightning. Now the worst of this is going to get outside of Gainesville at this time. We are seeing all the lightning strikes now zooming in to just Alachua County. See 100 strikes over the last 15 minutes. We're going to get in and dissect this cell a little bit further. Good news is, again, even though we're in a tornado watch in Alachua County, in Marion County, that we aren't seeing much in the way of any kind of spin there. So some relative good news. Still under a severe thunderstorm warning, though. That's going to be for Micanopy as well. The good news is estimating here 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts, so kind of like your routine afternoon summertime storm. Again, we do have a warning. We have an opportunity for these to kind of get a little nastier than what they already are and produce the potential for some damaging wind. That is why we have that warning there. Just an update. Let me see. All right, so now just extended, we have a severe thunderstorm warning for Marion County until 4:45 in the afternoon. So we're going to back up the radar here. We are going to turn the warnings back on, and we're going to see what part they are referring to. Let's move out to the Tampa radar and kind of see the stuff streaming in off. So I would imagine it's going to be down here, or they may have extended it back out in this direction. So we'll wait to see where exactly that is. Just getting the alert on my phone. I'm going to send that out to our news department so that they know for coverage. And again, if you are also tuning in from the Orlando, Central Florida area, again, Chief Meteorologist Tom Sorrells is about to be on tracking this nasty weather also on WKMG News 6. You can watch in both spots. So we kind of stream this down to local side, and we also, he'll obviously have coverage there of those storms pushing through. So I'm just writing this. I got to talk it out. 4:45. So there you go. You saw that little polygon pop up on your screen. That's going to be the continuation of that warning, really onto the northern skirts there, the northern area of Marion County. Hey, what's going on, Eduardo? Good to see you. Hope you are staying safe with some of this nasty weather coming through. And you see this kind of pulse up here, and this is exactly what I was talking about here. That's from the Tampa radar, so we are shooting pretty high, but there could be a hail core developing there, and certainly not as impressive. When you're looking higher up into the sky, that's whenever you would see the brighter hail cores, because it's looking up to the taller thunderstorms. It's a little colder up there. Southeast thunderstorm warning for Marion. All right, so that is sent. All right, you have my undivided attention. Again, we are coming at you on clickorlando.com, on the News 6 app, and on the clickorlando.com YouTube page. Hey, what's going on in Daytona Beach? The good news is we are not in that tornado watch. We are just south of the watch area, but we are going to have a significant weakening trend of that line of thunderstorms as it comes on through. So there's going to be good news. I think you're going to see the chance for a thunderstorm. The opportunity for a strong storm, though, really, really decreases the further south it gets from Flagler Beach and from Ocala. And then I think really a lot of your evening is going to be okay. It's just going to be kind of nasty. Hey, Adrian, welcome to the live stream. And let me know where you're tuning in from. If you're watching on the YouTube live stream, again, would love to know what you have seen. If you have already been impacted by some of the stronger thunderstorms that have moved through places like Jacksonville. Again, we are getting the heaviest and the strongest of the storms right now, the heaviest rain, the strongest winds. Just off to the west of downtown, already recorded a 65-mile-per-hour gust at the Jacksonville International Airport, so some nasty winds there. Hey, Laura, Florida is under a tornado watch. It depends upon what part you're referring to. So if you let me know where you are watching from, I can get in a little bit closer. But this includes, I'll zoom it out, and basically where this red color is. So that is where the watch is. So Panhandle, we aren't under a watch anymore. That has been canceled. And you see shaving off over there as well. And then if you're down towards the Orlando area or South Florida, you're in the clear. I do not see this being extended much more further south than it actually is right now. And the reason for that, we're losing a lot of the oomph in this line, if you will. There's not a ton of instability. There's not a ton of wind shear in the atmosphere, but enough, again, to make the environment capable of producing short-lived, quick spin-up tornadoes today. So we do have some of the nasty weather coming to Florida. It is moving into the east part of the state, the northwest side of the state, moving into the east coast towards Jacksonville, into that area. Jacksonville is getting it now. We're going to zoom on in to Jacksonville. We are under a severe thunderstorm warning. The west side of town just getting rocked. Let me make sure we're on the Jacksonville radar. And we are still under that tornado watch. The good news is it doesn't look like anything is spinning. Everything is in one direction. We can see that here. The green represents the wind going toward the radar, and then the red represents the wind going away from the radar. So everything is behaving. The wind is moving in one direction. So that's some good news. But the wind is very strong. The airport, Joan, just picked up a wind gust, recorded a wind gust of 65 miles an hour. So these storms do mean business. That is why we are still under that severe thunderstorm warning, as well. Jacksonville, Florida, ton of lightning. There you go. 72 strikes just in the Jacksonville area in the last 15 minutes. This is the real-time lightning counter right up at the top of your screen. So you see that 64 strikes. There's downtown Jacksonville, and then all of these little hash marks, these little lightning symbols there, are continuing to pop up, indicating in real time when that is when the lightning detection system is picking that up. Hey Shane, so I wouldn't put it out of the realm of possibilities, but it's going to be hard to get a severe thunderstorm or a tornado warning in Lakeland. This line really wants to fall apart. You see more out there. There's a lot of nasty weather off the coast, but the trends would be for this to kind of fall apart as everything kind of sags on down. We have a couple little itty-bitty cells. Those are not concerning right now. So I really think we're going to see this line pretty much fall apart as it moves into the Lakeland area. That's what some of the model guidance is suggesting. The atmosphere certainly suggests that as well. I think there will be a few thunderstorms around, so don't get me wrong there. I think there will be a few thunderstorms around this evening, but they're really going to lose a lot of their punch as they slide on through. So right now there's no, as I smack the microphone, there are no active tornado warnings in Florida. There is a tornado watch, meaning that we have favorable conditions for the development of tornadoes. But there's a reason why it wasn't expanded much further down south. It was just to kind of cover where we did have some things kind of misbehaving a little bit in terms of these thunderstorms. And as a whole, while we do have a lot of nasty lightning in and around Jacksonville and Lakeside, Florida, we're not really seeing the turning of the winds, which is a good thing. Currently in Jacksonville, we see severe thunder and severe wind. Thank you for that report. So the good news is I don't see anything spinning there, but the wind is certainly very, very strong. It's hard to get a good gauge of how strong the winds are because now the storms are just are close by to the radar. So nothing, at least from the estimation there from the radar, is too concerning. But again, ground truth, we had a 65-mile-per-hour wind gust reported at the Jacksonville International Airport. So again, you take ground truth over estimated stuff every day. Just checking the latest warning. Marine warning issued for Flagler, so don't take the boat out because that line of thunderstorms is coming through. So here's the deal. We also have these guys, and it's always these ones here that you have to watch, especially for tornadic development when they get isolated like that. Again, we're not in a huge tornado environment today, but there's enough to trigger that severe for that tornado watch. And then we're going to watch, when you get these storms in a line like this, you always watch for these little kinks in the line. And that's where you can get a quick spin-up tornado, like right in the kinks, where they kind of bow a little bit. So we're going to be watching those areas, as well. I don't know this answer off the top of my head, so I'd have to look that up for you. But I don't know. The coldest ever in Florida is 2 degrees below zero, but I don't know in Lakeland. So I apologize. I don't know that stat off the top of my head. All right, I see a whole lot of new people just joining us on YouTube. If you have just opened up the Pinpoint Weather app, welcome. We are tracking some severe weather now, moving into north central Florida and the east coast of Florida. This is really running from about Jacksonville, now past Gainesville, and then moving into northern Marion County. And that's going to continue to kind of push off to the east. I'll put that in motion for you a little bit. So there's been the progression of that. I will let that loop. I do think we're going to have something in Lake County. We have a couple of little itty-bitty downpours right now in Lake County. There's nothing concerning. The line in question here, or the line of concern, is going to go on a weakening trend very, very quickly as it pushes to the south and east. You see everything's kind of moving in this direction. And it's the trend will be to weaken. We're going to have the instability go away, or at least be much lower than what it is right now. And it's not even that high to begin with. But enough, again, to keep these storms maintained. There's enough spin to get some shenanigans going on with these storms to be able to produce a brief, short-lived, quick tornado as well. I would think it would be colder than that. I'm almost certain it's going to be colder than 27. I'd be surprised if that was the coldest it ever got. Because in Orlando, not that far away from you, in Lakeland, it's gotten into the teens before. It would have to be lower. But I can double check when everything's quiet down. All right, if you are just joining us, I'm meteorologist Jonathan Kegges. We are coming at you live from clickorlando.com, the News 6 app, and our News 6 YouTube channel. Tracking the severe weather that is moving through. This is the last gasp of this multi-day severe weather threat that we've been tracking through the southern tier of the country and the plains and deep south. So we're almost done with this round. But you see the extension there of those severe thunderstorm warnings as this line kind of marches to the east. We have a couple of little itty-bitty guys into St. Johns County, including St. Augustine, now that's off the coast, and your St. Augustine Beach. Just check, new warning just came on through. Special weather statement from the Weather Service. I don't think. I don't. It's not a good chance. There's just a chance. I think we're losing that chance gradually as the day. We've had history of, especially around north of Jacksonville, of tornadoes touching down. That's where the better atmospheric dynamics are set up. But the tornado watch does go into Flagler and Marion County. I'll zoom out and I'll show you that watch box. And that's going to be in the red there. That's going to be your best opportunity for some nasty weather. But even so, that line of thunderstorms is likely going to weaken by the time it gets to you, wherever you are. So I'm not sure where you're at, actually. So depending upon where you're at, if you're in South or Central Florida, I think you're going to be good. Osceola County, I think we're going to be okay as well. I think we're going to see a couple of downpours, maybe a rumble of thunder, but that's really about it. We will continue to see these storms move from kind of northwest to southeast, and then the trend is going to be for these to fizzle out. I'll try to show you. I'll keep this radar on. I'm going to try to bring up another product for you to kind of show you the future radar. So stand by just a second. I'll try to walk and chew gum and load up our future radar. In the meantime, if you're watching on YouTube, post where you are watching from. If you are finding this stream helpful, please give it a thumbs up. It'll help YouTube push us out to more people so that they can be alerted to what's going on. And again, we do have some just strong winds. The winds have been very, very gusty, though. So I want to be clear about that. I know a lot of times we say just a severe thunderstorm warning, but you can't always just say that because you can get a lot of damage from severe thunderstorm wind gusts. That's why those warnings are in place. So again, you're seeing that kind of hit Jacksonville hard right now. We're going to go in and do some analysis on some of these in just 1 second, but I do want to give you kind of like a look as to what is coming down the pipeline. If you're watching from areas, say around Orlando or south into Kissimmee, St. Cloud, or even into South Florida, just loading up all of the high-resolution future radar data for you to show. That's what I'm doing kind of behind the scenes here. So again, post away. I will be done in just 1 second. All right. So here's the deal. We're back with you at Future Radar now. So I have a lot of people asking about Orlando or into Polk County, into Osceola County as well. You see, just got another update here. Okay, special weather statement, meaning that, or significant weather advisory, meaning that there's some significant weather moving through Sumter County. Not enough to be considered damaging, but impactful. So here we go through the rest of the evening and watch what happens. I think we will see a few little guys kind of bubble up here in parts of Volusia County. You see Edgewater, nice little flare up there, same Brevard. But then as we go forward into the evening, there are those little itty-bitty guys kind of popping up. The main line that we are tracking right now, the lighter the green, the weaker the storm, and then it really just kind of fizzles out late into the evening. So if you do have plans to be out tonight, I don't think this is going to throw a wrench in your plans completely. Just stay weather aware for the next couple of hours. Again, this tornado watch goes until 6 o'clock. No indication that this is going to be expanded either by time or by geography. Just something to be mindful about. Get back to the chat. Northeast Florida, I don't see. It must have been super brief, and it wouldn't have been that brief. So, no, there is no tornado warning for Northeast Florida. That'll be showing up on the screen. Yeah, I mean, you're correct with that. The main tornado threat today was going to be back here, where the original watch, like right back in here. Um, the watch was extended because a few of these were kind of showing signs that they were trying to spin a little bit. It was just a kind of just in case one would go rogue. Again, this is not a huge tornado day for Florida. I know there have been there's been one touchdown north of Jacksonville confirmed. There have been some very strong wind gusts. But let's get in here and see as now the worst of this has blown to the east of downtown Jacksonville. Look at some of the brighter reds here representing some of the relatively stronger wind gusts. Now 40 to 50 miles an hour in that little speck. A lot of wind in Daytona Beach. We're going to get back down there as well. Yeah, it's been a very breezy day, and that's one of the things that's kind of going into giving there to be a very subtle tornado threat through Florida. We've had the breeze, that low-level wind flow really helping things out a little bit, just adding a little bit of juice or a little bit of oomph for the potential for tornadoes to develop today. Still not having all of the ingredients, thankfully, to get a full-on big severe weather day through Florida, even though we do still have severe thunderstorm warnings out right now. New severe thunderstorm warning includes Jacksonville Beach into Palm Valley. This is going to get into St. Johns County as well, just north of St. Augustine. Thank you for the subscription. I am a meteorologist. Work at News 6 out of Orlando, Florida.
Yeah, they haven't, until they fill those, it's still number 6.
Thank you again for subscribing. And if you are finding this helpful, please give it a thumbs up. And if you do like tracking the weather or staying informed about the weather, you have come to the right place. Hit that subscribe button. We would love to have you on board if you are watching on YouTube. If you are watching on clickorlando.com, again, or the News 6 app, we are tracking this severe weather threat. It's not super, super high. We do have several severe thunderstorm warnings for mainly North Florida. Mainly for North Florida. We do have one warning in Central Florida. That is going to include just the tippy top here of Marion County. We are in a tornado watch in Flagler and Marion County. And a watch just means, again, there is the potential for tornadoes to develop. I don't see it as being very high by any means, but there's enough, again, for that watch to be issued. Oh, that's great. That is awesome. Thanks, Darlene. We're going to check out Putnam County. Let's check that out. We're going to watch this out closely. We're out of the Jacksonville radar. Make sure that we are seeing that. What part of Putnam are you in? We can do that. We can get closer as well. Hey, from Sweden. What's going on? So this storm isn't coming to Cali, but you have another big storm they're going to have to contend with it. If you're on the coast, some big-time issues are going to be happening with the flooding rains. So stay safe out there. And, again, if you encounter any of that water, you know the saying, turn around, don't drown. We're going to get back into Putnam County now. Let's just see here. We have a severe thunderstorm warning for the entire county of Putnam just about. All right, there we go in Interlaken. So we have zoomed into Interlaken for Darlene. We're kind of out of one. We're kind of out of one round of thunderstorms. The nastiest bunch is just to your west. There's some light rain going on now. There's where we have some of the stronger storms just back to your west. We're going to turn on the velocity mode. It doesn't look like it's too terribly strong, the wind's coming in, but the winds are going to pick up in a few minutes. So just kind of hang out, stay away from windows. There's some more lightning strikes coming to your way as well. But some gusty winds, some really heavy rain, and some lightning and thunder really going to start to pick up in Interlaken. So be safe there. And by Bay Area, I assume you mean San Francisco. It's going to get nuts out there. I mean, this is just the start of like a week to 2 weeks, same kind of pattern, just getting slammed with those atmospheric rivers. Somebody asked about... All right, we're going to head into North Marion County now. And that's where we do have the severe thunderstorm warning for us. This is going to go until 4:45. So far, so good. We do have a nasty little guy here. Marion County is always hard to kind of gauge when there are storms coming through because it's so far away from the Jacksonville radar and it's so far away from the Tampa radar, the radars that we use. But right now we have a storm just right along like Orange Springs, Fort Brooke Landing, Hog Valley, some very, very heavy rain. And that is extreme northern Marion County. And then we get a little further. There's Island Grove, Reddick, and Citra, Fort Drane. We're now out of the severe thunderstorm warning in those areas as well. Salt Springs, we're looking okay right now. We are looking okay, but we do have some nasty storms out there right on the northern tier of Marion County. Absolutely, Andrew. Tornado watch for you and Flagler goes until 6 p.m. The reason why that watch was issued was because of that line moving through. Now, this is going to be the main line here. Back off to your west. Of course, here we are in Flagler. But we're also going to watch for these little teeny tiny guys, these like mini supercells that kind of pop up out ahead of the main line. That was the reason why. That is the reason why that watch was issued for those little pop-up guys out ahead of the main line. The threat isn't that great, but it is certainly enough. It is certainly enough. So in Lakeland, in that area, in Polk County, I think that's where you said in Lakeland, it's we have wind gusting to about 30 miles an hour. Just looked at the latest observation there out of, I think it was actually the Winter Haven Airport that I saw that data come in. All right, so we're going to head up to Duval. Be safe. That lightning, of course, is no joke. You got it. Thanks, Angie, for tuning into the stream. I appreciate you. So, Savannah, the good news is that there is no tornado warning right now in Duval. You are under a tornado watch in Duval, meaning that the conditions are favorable and to be ready to take action if a warning is triggered. But the good news is, I mean, I don't want to say good news completely. There's some nasty weather rolling through Duval. But it's all going in one direction. So, and by that, you can look at the velocity mode here on the radar. The red is the wind being detected moving away from the radar. So let me bring out my telestration again. And then the green is the wind moving toward the radar. So we're not seeing that spin, thankfully, to be able to produce a tornado. So some relative good news, but there are still some nasty, nasty thunderstorms moving through Duval. So I want to be clear about that. When I say good news, it's just on a relative scale. And we aren't seeing a ton of damage reports coming back in behind this line. Let me turn on the storm reports. Looks like by Lake Geneva, there was a reported funnel cloud. And again, that's one of the reasons why that we have that tornado warning. So it is so windy here now because it's going to be the pressure gradient, the changing pressure. We have low pressure kind of moving in from the deep south and plains, and there's still a big chunk of high pressure that has been keeping Florida so warm for the last few days. The higher difference in temperature, or difference in pressure or temperature increases the wind speed in between the two changing things. So there's a relatively high spread in temperature and pressure. That's why. All right, have a request for St. Johns County. We're going to head over in that direction. All right, so here we go in St. Johns County. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning just north of St. Augustine. I'm not sure exactly where you're located in St. Johns. Let me turn on the Jacksonville radar. Let me get the storm reports off. So some nasty stuff here. Let's inspect some of these. There's not a ton of spin, thankfully. Orange Park, weather's crazy. Thank you for that report. Stark, I think you are in the clear. I believe we watched some of those storms kind of roll through. They weren't too incredibly intense. Let me get back to the Jacksonville radar so we can see a bit clearer. You're going to have a little bit more rain coming through in Stark. But the nastiest weather for you is over. That line of thunderstorms we're kind of pinpointing here is moving through. So in St. Augustine, we are watching thunderstorms kind of all around us. We have these guys off our coast, just south of St. Augustine Beach. And then these are going to be the storms that come in your direction. Put a little timer on that. There's nothing too incredibly hail, half inch, maybe getting up to an inch. It's on the outside, though. Not a crazy hail-producing storm. Not a hail environment either. Hey, Brandon, what's going on in Sanford? We're going to have the chance for a few downpours tonight. I really don't. All this kind of mess is like going to go like Thanos snap and kind of like fizzle out as it goes from northwest to southeast. So this is going to very, very quickly, kind of fast. So if you have plans to be out on the town tonight, maybe grab dinner or whatever in Sanford, there are going to be downpours around just like this. There are a few there on the radar. Just have to do a little bit dodging, but our severe weather threat in Sanford is relatively low tonight. All right, I'm going to turn all the warnings back on just to get an update here. The nastiest stuff now, it's just to the west of St. Augustine, getting in to Palatka. This is now moving. So the worst in Interlaken, if our friend from Putnam County is still on, the worst is going to be past you now. So some good news here. And also relatively good news that, again, the warning has not been extended down into the Ocala area. We had a question about Ocala a moment ago, and as expected, again, as it kind of pushes south and east of where the line is now, it will get a little bit weaker. Hey, Don, it's Spring Hill. So far, so good. We just have a little sprinkle right around Spring Hill. I'm going to turn on the Tampa radar. Some nasty storms off to your west. We have a shot for some of these to kind of get on land, but still, they look nasty now. We're shooting way, way high up, way far away into the storm, so a lot of times they do look a little more intense on radar when you're shooting high up into the storm. But the trend for you as well in Spring Hill is for these to kind of fizzle out a little bit. Just keep an eye on that line coming in from the west. So if you are just joining us, again, we are live on the clickorlando.com YouTube channel. We are live on clickorlando.com. We are live on the News 6 app as well. All great tools. If you like to stay up to date to the weather or just like the weather in general, please hit that subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. If you're finding this helpful, please hit the thumbs up button. It helps YouTube push this out to more people so that we can give them a kind of heads up, a non-alarming heads up. Because we do have some nasty weather out there right now. And the worst of it, and you see that warning already being peeled back in Marion County. So some better news there, and so far so good. We are seeing a weakening trend. Hey Terry, in Cape Coral, things are going to be pretty good in Cape Coral. The severe threat is very, very low. You may have some rain move in tonight, but the severe weather threat really south of Orlando is extremely low. There are a couple of thunderstorms inland, interior Central Florida. Whoops, thought I had my telestrator on. All of that as well. Well, I'm changing view here. I just really love the weather. I think the thunderstorm scared me as a kid, and that had a role in it. And I was a little kid during the blizzard of '93 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And I think seeing the snow and snow drifts was pretty cool. And I think that, so I'm going to attribute the blizzard of '93 to that. And I know the blizzard of '93 was awful down here too. Not for snow, of course, but for severe weather. Okay, so Orange Park, Florida. We're going to get into Orange Park. The worst is off to your east now. So you got some nasty weather. Things are quieting down. All of this is now, the worst of this is at Atlantic Beach, Jacksonville Beach, Palm Valley. Good evening or good afternoon. If I have anybody watching in from south of Jacksonville. So in Duval, we are getting ready to get rid of the nastiest weather. Most of this now is just getting ready to exit the coast off of Jacksonville Beach and moving out of Duval. So soon you're going to be good. Hey, in North Carolina, I think you're good. You did have storms earlier. Now there's the lightning strikes associated with that, so I'm pretty sure that you are good. I don't know the North Carolina weather off the top of my head, but I was looking at some things in the southeast yesterday, and early in the afternoon that you were going to see some things. But now most of those storms are off of the coast of North Carolina, so I believe that you're going to be good. Certainly that severe weather threat for you is pretty low at this point. All right, we're going to head back down to Florida. If you are tuning in on the News 6 app or clickorlando.com or on the News 6 page. Hey, Melody, we're thinking of you guys in California. Just awful stuff going on there. No joke flooding, as you're going to have series of storm after storm after storm that's going to continue to pound the coast. So be safe out there. If that's in fact where you're tuning in from, make sure you're not driving through any waters. Again, mudslides are going to be likely not only for this week, but getting into next week as well. All right, and like clockwork, you see, for those that have been on with me here for the past, how long have we been live? We've been on a while, about 45 minutes. For those that have been with me live, we've kind of watched this line, and this is like kind of what we were talking about. We were watching the fact that the line certainly looked a lot more beefy than it did. I mean, it looked more beefy about an hour ago. So thankfully, again, the trends as expected are happening with this. We do still have some nasty weather, though, in Palatka, west of St. Augustine, and now this is getting out of Duval and really exiting the Atlantic coast just hanging on to a very, very small sliver of Duval County in Atlantic Beach and Jacksonville Beach. Good stuff. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, your severe threat is over for the evening in Orange Park.
They're coming back at 8 p.m. I bet they're all like.
Thank you, Deborah, for that. Yeah, no, South Carolina, yeah, your time was certainly earlier in the day. Durham, North Carolina is looking good. Angie, the threat isn't zero where you are in St. Augustine. It's not the highest either. We'll take a look at these kind of come into St. Johns County. Let me turn back on the Jacksonville radar. We're going to get close here. I'm not seeing much in the way of spin. So, I mean, that is so far so good. There's still some gusty winds behind that line, but right now we're not seeing anything spin. And that's how we like it. We don't want any warnings, to be clear. Again, severe thunderstorm warnings are no joke either. But we don't want anything. You are welcome. You be safe as well. You know, I do think there's going to be a little break, and then you're going to get more rain that's out by Lake City. It's all going to be light stuff, though. By and large, you're done, and a lot of this is going to fizzle out, but you should have kind of like one more push getting in towards you tonight. It's going to be very light, probably in the next hour or two. That is going to slide on in. Oh, yeah, you are going to hear the thunder for quite some time. I mean, look at all the thunder, the lightning bolts that are just, there's Orange Park. There's still, in this little box that we have zoomed into, I mean, there are 90 strikes of lightning being picked up in just the last 15 minutes. That's what we have the timestamp set as. So these are highly electrified storms as this cold front comes on through. So you're going to still see that. You're still going to hear that thunder. And look, and this is why it's so important. This is a great example to, if you can hear the thunder, it's not safe to be outside. Look at this. Look at where that strike came out. So if someone was outside near Orange Park, the main batch of lightning is with the stronger thunderstorms. But look at that. Look how far away that main bolt of lightning just came through. So, again, just kind of a reminder, again, we had a lot of, it was a rough year in Florida for lightning injuries and fatalities. So just a reminder, especially before we get into the summertime afternoon sea breeze storms, to just remember, anytime you hear lightning or hear thunder, see lightning, you need to be inside. Hey, Belinda, good to see you. Thank you for that report. So there you go. That thunder was earlier, as I thought it was, and then all that lightning now back off into the Atlantic. So thank you, Belinda, for hopping on and clearing that up, and just for helping us out there. Appreciate it. All right, we are still tracking a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings at the moment. Again, we hopped on here onto our clickorlando.com YouTube channel. And News 6, if you're watching from the News 6 mobile app, If you're watching from clickorlando.com, welcome. We have one severe thunderstorm warning for the central Florida area. That's going to be the extreme northern part of Marion County. Most of the active stuff is north and into north central Florida and then right along the east coast of Florida there. Exiting Duval County, moving into St. Johns County. Flagler County right now, we are in the clear. We're under that tornado watch for another hour and 20 minutes. But all in all, the severe weather risk for today for Central Florida is pretty low. It's not zero. That's why we have that watch there. There's enough ingredients to get a rogue tornado warning or a rogue quick spin up. But nonetheless, we do have those warnings out there. So it's something to take seriously as we have gusty winds. We mentioned earlier, we'll check to see if there are any fresh storm reports coming in. And so you see that here again in Clay County. We were looking at this earlier. This was at 4 o'clock. So this happened while we were on. And we were looking at, there wasn't a ton of rotation, but there was just a teeny tiny bit there. It was enough to produce a funnel cloud over Lake Geneva. So again, that's how we want to watch closely in Putnam County and watch closely in St. John's, because there's just enough to get these things to spin a little bit. It's not a crazy long track tornado day by any means, but it can put down a brief, quick spin up tornado coming through as well. You'll see extra storm reports up there, so that's what I'm doing, clicking away on my keyboard over here. So keep the comments coming. Again, if you are just tuning in, we are live on News 6. Chief Meteorologist Tom Sorrells is on News 6 itself on the 4:30 newscast, so he is on TV. I'm hanging out here with you guys in our newsroom. If you are watching on clickorlando.com or the News 6 app, if you're checking in from anywhere across the country or world for that matter, we're coming at you from Orlando, Florida, tracking this kind of last gasp of this multi-day severe weather threat that has been moving through the plains, then the deep south, and then today the southeast in Florida. So somebody asked if it's going to be like this tomorrow. Try to pull that back up in the chat feed. Angie, no, our weather is going to be great in Florida tomorrow. It's going to start to get a little cooler tomorrow for you. But the weather is going to be great. All this nasty stuff gets on out of here, and it should be great tomorrow and then Friday. Today's Wednesday, right? Yeah, Thursday and Friday. I'm still struggling post-holiday getting to know what day it is. I don't know if you guys are in that same boat or not. And there was that tornado report earlier today, Bristol, Georgia. So, again, positive news here. Even though we have warnings out, there's not been a severe gust reported with this line. 51 mile per hour is not a severe gust. It needs to be 58 or greater. Hey, Melissa, Leesburg, we are good right now. We are not included in that tornado watch. There could be a few storms later on this afternoon, later on this evening. I'm not anticipating severe weather, though. Okay? Not anticipating severe weather, and most of your evening is going to be looking pretty good. There are some nasty storms out over the ocean right now. The Gulf of Mexico. But still, they're not looking too healthy. Or they should. They are looking healthy now. They won't by the time they start to get closer to the shoreline. Alrighty, so we are going to see what the Weather Service has done with this. We still have 2 warnings in play. This one should be expiring as we speak. We will see if they continue that or let it expire. And again, still some nasty stuff just moving into Palatka and into Hastings. St. Augustine Beach heads up again. We still have that very strong thunderstorm now moving through. All right, just looking at some different stuff here. Hey, Venice Island, good to see you. I think for the most part, people are safe. And there you go. So just in real time here as we're watching this together, the warning has been allowed to expire. So we don't have any severe warnings now. There's still some nasty gusty winds kind of pushing through from west to east here. So St. Augustine is going to get nasty in about 20 to 30 minutes. St. Augustine Beach, northern Flagler County, maybe Marineland into Beverly Beach, Palm Coast on the tail end of that as this kind of pushes in that direction. So there's going to be some heavier stuff. Again, right now, everything, while it's loud, while it's gusty, while it's windy, most of this is relatively tame. So we don't have any active warnings. We do still have a tornado watch for the next hour and 12 minutes. That is because conditions are favorable. To be clear, there are no warnings out there. And again, we are going to be watching this closely with you. All righty, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in and tracking the weather alongside us here. I'm meteorologist Jonathan Kegges. Again, we are coming at you live, or were coming at you live, on clickorlando.com, the News 6 app, and then again on the News 6 YouTube channel. Thank you guys so much. Again, if you found this stream helpful and enjoyed the conversation that we were having, please give this a thumbs up. It'll help YouTube push this out to more people. And if you do like tracking the weather, you can subscribe if you want to. And join us for the next time we have inclement weather. I think we're going to be focusing on, we're going to go out west to California. So I know we are based out of Orlando here, where we kind of look at the weather across the country and the world when it is impactful. And there is some nasty, nasty weather going on in California over the next few days while we're going to quiet things down in the east. So you may hop on over and take a look at that again on Thursday. So again, thank you so much for tuning in. Belinda, appreciate that. Thanks for stopping by. Again, thank you for your help with that from North Carolina. I really appreciate that as well. Let me just see. We got another little alert here, just a special weather statement. So far, so good. Some strong storms moving east of Jacksonville, pushing into St. Augustine. The bad part, east of Jacksonville, it's in the Atlantic, but for St. Johns County, for North Flagler County, and for Putnam County, we're still kind of dealing with some of those gusty winds. Orange Park is looking beautiful tomorrow. A little cooler, but beautiful. Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been great talking to everybody, tracking the storms with you. Again, if you found this helpful, hit that thumbs up button for me. That'll help us out a lot. And if you do like tracking the weather, talking about the weather, hit that subscribe button. Alrighty, guys. We'll catch you next time. Stay safe. Watch out for those gusty winds and lightning for the next hour or so as these storms finally push off the Florida coast. Thanks, guys. Be safe.